want to thank the gentleman from Virginia for yielding me the customary 30 minutes, and I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, with respect to the legislation at hand, the so-called Halt Fentanyl Act, all I can say is folks on the other side must be living on another freaking planet. Mr. Speaker, Republicans want to come down here and lecture people about fentanyl. Let's talk about fentanyl. President Donald J. Trump, during his very first week in office, pardoned a drug dealer who helped fentanyl pour into our country. Let me repeat that nice and slowly so it sinks in. As one of his first acts in office, Donald J. Trump pardoned a drug dealer who was sentenced to life in federal prison who let the fentanyl into America. And I just have a simple question for my friends on the other side. Why? Why? Why isn't this guy still in jail? Why would Donald Trump let out a drug dealer like this? Guy sentenced to life in federal prison. I wish I had an answer. Maybe they can explain it to us. They like to talk so much about pardons, but they're silent on this one. We hear crickets from the other side. It makes you wonder what is going on here. Let me read the ICE press release from when this guy was arrested. And are you ready for this? ICE says that the guy Donald Trump pardoned helped, quote, thousands of drug dealers and other unlawful vendors distribute hundreds of kilograms of illegal drugs and other unlawful goods and services to more than 100,000 buyers, and to launder hundreds of millions of dollars deriving from these unlawful transactions, end quote. It goes on to explain how he distributed narcotics that were linked to overdose deaths across the country. People died as a result of this criminality. This is a guy who made the cartels rich, who made it easier for China to mail fentanyl into our country, who let the drugs pour into our communities, tearing families apart, getting people sick, exposing people to danger, causing numerous deaths. And he was pardoned. He was pardoned by Donald Trump. And it takes a lot of nerve, Mr. Speaker, a lot of nerve to let out the fentanyl guy and then come down here with a straight face and tell people that we're all about stopping drugs into America. And let's not get started about the funding freeze that Trump is trying to put into place. Trump wants to block hundreds of billions of dollars in bipartisan funding for law enforcement, including blocking money going after fentanyl, state and local law enforcement assistance, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Program. Republicans are in court right now fighting to gut it all. And why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? The answer is very simple, actually. They are stealing taxpayer dollars. Republicans want to steal from you, the American people, to give Elon and Trump more tax breaks, more tax write-offs for their private jets, their mansions, islands, and yachts. It's corruption. Good old-fashioned, plain and simple corruption. So then they'll come down here to the floor and pretend to care about fentanyl, while they pardon the drug dealers that profit off of people's pain and gut the programs that keep drugs off our street. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? Let's talk about those tariffs. Yeah, the tariffs that Trump kept bragging about, that he promised he was going to slap on our allies, Canada and Mexico. If he was successful, they would have sent domestic costs on food, gas, and household goods spiraling out of control. Then, when people started paying attention, when we stood up for the workers, when the public fought back, Trump folded. He lost. He rescinded his funding freeze. He walked back his tariffs, and he got nothing in exchange. Trump wants to give us this impression that he has power and strength. He really has none. He backed down on his funding freeze. He backed down on his tariffs. The courts are rejecting his executive orders because guess what? He's not king, and we're fighting back. And I can promise you this, Mr. Speaker, we are going to fight back with every single ounce of strength we have to prevent this president and his billionaire sidekick from undermining the rule of law and stealing from the people we were elected to protect. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman